Hi, welcome back to my Mexican life and wife. So now it's October 2020. COVID has changed the world. It changed travel and, requiring you to get vaccines, masking in place, different flight routes, not as many options. But I was able to do it. I mean, vaccination for me is not a big deal. I do get vaccinated for the flu and everything like that as well. So having COVID vaccines didn't bother me, and if it may be able to give me options of going on a flight out of country, all the better. Masking, yes, it was a pain, but I see the necessity that it had, and preventative measures. And so, I complied with the rules, so I can travel and see Rebecca in Mexico was the ultimate goal. So I got all that done. So when it come to booking, of course, as I mentioned, flights were not scarce, but they were being canceled, redirected. So I ended up getting a flight from Edmonton to Toronto to Houston to Queretaro. So that was the route I took to and back. It was longer, but in the end, it was worth it to me to get down there. So now at the time, of course, airports they weren't as busy. So I mean, making your transfers and everything like that was not a problem. So yeah, so I did arrive in Querétaro in October of 2020. Rebecca met me at the airport. We were masking in the airport, even in Querétaro. Querétaro had, also had the rules as well, and as they should. So we did a lot of things that were kind of outdoor, and of course, distancing was still is still was a thing back then, and yeah, I mean, it made people feel comfortable as well, because I mean, let's face it, COVID was the unknown. It wasn't. A lot of things need to be figured out at this time. So, yeah, we did a lot of things outside. Went to many parks. Went for walks. Did go to a national historic park called Cerro de la Campanas. So basically, it's campana is bell in Spanish, and so from what I understand, it's an area where there's an area where if you take a rock and hit another rock, it's to sound like bells, and it wasn't busy, of course, with social distancing and everything like that. And of course, at the time I was there, it was, got to go midweek or whatever. And so Rebecca was doing a lot of online teaching at the time. So, it was relatively easier for her to get away and do things with me. There was a big statue of Benito Juarez, which is like dedicated. And as I mentioned before, Querétaro is instrumental in a lot of the, Spanish Revolution, so Mexican Revolution. So they, he is the first president of Mexico City. So there's a great big statue in honoring of him there. What else did we do? We went to a little pueblo or a town just outside Querétaro. We stayed overnight. It was a nice little hotel. It was very colonial, clean, not busy, of course, and it was also midweek. So it's called Tequisquiapan. The locals call it Tequis, and so do I, because it's a lot easier for me to pronounce. So that's why I'll just refer it to Tequis. So it's not very far. It's probably within an hour of Santiago de Querétaro. And the area is quite known for distilleries like wine and estates, and also producing fine cheeses, so quesos. So it's a little bit also agricultural, and so it was nice to get out and just go for a drive in the country and see a little bit of Mexico that way, and I really enjoyed it, and so did Rebecca, my tour guide. I actually drove, so I driving in Mexico. It takes some getting used to. You're not, people. There are rules, but of course, rules are there, but I don't know how much they follow them. I mean, they're a good guideline. Let's just say that. I guess if you fall, within, a certain level of what's right and wrong, I guess you're okay. So yeah, I really enjoyed the driving. What else did? Yeah, we went on what is called around Horikia. It's like an old agricultural kind of town that was very close to Querétaro. Basically, it's part of Querétaro now, Santiago de Querétaro, and so it was more like it had a lot of rancheros, like ranches and stuff like that. So very, a lot of cattle and that kind of stuff. So it was very interesting. I enjoyed. We, just driving around and looking at different things, because of course, we were limited on what we can and can't do with COVID. So yeah, we stopped and we looked around this Hotel Horikia, very old. I saw a sign there. It was like 1707 was when it was established, and very colonial, very, lots of stucco and wood and tiles. It was magnificent. The garden was in full bloom. And it's the first time I ever saw wild poinsettia. I've never seen wild poinsettia before, so it just grows there. And yeah, so, I stored that one in the back of my mind for future reference, because, of course, I wouldn't mind staying there, or, have a little party there or something like that in the future. We also went to Cerrito, the pyramid. So Querétaro does have a pyramid. It's it's not the big huge one like in Mexico City, with the moon and the sun pyramids, but it's in its own right, it's an archaeological site, and it does have a museum. It was closed, unfortunately, so I did do some reading there. It was was built around 300 BC, so standing the test of time. So it was pretty unique to see that. Mexico has so many pyramids to see, and we went to Centro. We went to and this is fantastic. You should, if you ever get a chance to go to Santiago de Queretaro and go to Centro, the UNESCO Heritage site. It has a museum called the Calendar Museum, and so it has, and a lot of the calendars are, of course, Mexican, but what a wealth of knowledge and history and just all throughout the years and everything like that. From the Aztec calendar, which is amazing, and just talking about the months and the days of the week. I didn't even know that the days of the week in the semana, which is a week. Lunes is for the moon. That's Monday, and Martes is Mars, and so forth, and that. I mean, they have Mercules is Mercury, Mercury, and Oeves is Jupiter, and so it was just amazing, just kind of learning and just seeing. Oh, okay, yeah, I understand that now, and it was very, very interesting on how also, like, the Aztec calendar, like how they were able to determine, certain times of when when to plant crops or corn, etc. And it was just amazing. Like, history, just it does something to me. I enjoy that. So we did a lot of just kind of just hanging out, and just even in Rebecca's neighborhood, we just did a lot of going out, evening, walking around. We didn't eat out as much. We bought quite a few groceries and just ate in, and if we went somewhere, we packed a lunch, not a problem. And we didn't do too many restaurants, and and there was a lot of restaurants probably open either as well. So we did good. I mean, it was about time being spent with each other and her family. I got to see her family as well. We did venture and see the Querétaro has aqueducts. Well, just one singular aqueduct, and so of course it was built at the time, and it was finished around 1738, October, and so it lights up the city, and I have a picture, so you'll be able to see it in the slideshow at the end there, and it lights up, and so it takes it from one part of the city. Of course, Quereto's grown quite a bit, so one part of the city now to the other, and so bringing natural spring fresh water to the citizens of the Central at the time there. So quite a magnificent feat, and still standing, and looks great. I think it's pretty awesome. And we also had it was my birthday when I was down there, so we had Feliz Cumpleaños for me. They made a typical Spanish dish, which, of course, is Mexican as well. Paella. So it's like a saffron rice with seafood, and oh my goodness, that's good stuff. I really enjoyed that. And And then I did my birthday wish, and my birthday wish was I asked Rebecca to marry me at that time, and it surprised everybody. No one was ready for that, and of course Rebecca, like automatically she replied yes, and everybody was so happy and crying, and typical emotional familia. It was great, and good to go back and look at some of the pictures there, and they still probably talk to it about this day, but it just sets us up for the future, and looking forward to making the right steps now, like getting ready to get married, then I can sponsor as my spouse to come to Canada, right? So everything had methodical thinking and making things right. So thank you for watching, and enjoy the slideshow of some of the things that I just talked about, and you take care. Hasta luego.